I didn't want my tirade about COVID to be on there.
Stuart is about to break into a fucking rant. Start recording.
I'm telling you, man, I'm about to jump out this fucking window. I'm so angry about this thing. I'm convinced that my wife has the flu, and now I have to take 2 weeks off of work and burn through all my shit. I'm so mad about this.
It's the worst. Well, I hope she doesn't get super bad. That'd be scary.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, I can't even kiss her.
All right. Moving on. All right, guys, are we ready?
Yep.
All right. I gotta make sure every time I do the intro, I keep thinking that I want to say bracer situation, but I gotta every single time I gotta remember to say Cantina Radio. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cantina Radio. My name is James St. Pierre, and as always, I'm joined by two of my best friends in the world. We got good old Patrick Bird.
Hi! Fuck, that didn't even come through. Jesus Christ.
Whoa, what happened there?
Fucking no idea.
All right, well, that's Pat. And we got Tiernan McDonald.
My fingernails are too long.
All right.
Pathetic.
Yeah, gross.
Fix your hygiene practices, you bud. Cool. Well, as my little surprise topic, I actually kind of I like it. I'm excited to hear you guys' impressions here. So, I know Tiernan and you have talked about this before, but Pat, I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this. I want to know, what is your guys' first celebrity crush, real or animated, that you guys remember having?
Go ahead, P-Bird.
Fuck, I have no idea.
You never thought about this?
No idea. Fucking Tiernan, you're gonna have to go.
Yeah, Tiernan,
Buy me some time.
Well, for the second week in a row, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about Aladdin because I'm all about Jasmine, baby. I don't think that there's so many of us out there. I don't think that I wish I had like more of a surprising answer. You know what?
I do. So
I'm gonna skip Jasmine, even though that she was the first one. I'm gonna say, and I don't know the actress's name, but you know who the woman who plays the young version of Marty McFly's mom in the original?
Is her name Leah something?
She's
is it like? What's her name?
I feel like I saw her on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And this was probably a long time ago, but she was still like a total babe, like absolutely smoking hot. And I don't know how old she was, but she was, probably an older lady. I would be guessing in her 40s or 50s somewhere. But she seems timeless. And there was something about her, man, when she was sitting in the car sitting in the car and she's talking about like, oh, I stole this liquor from my, mother's liquor cabinet or whatever, even as a 6 or 7 year old, and she's got like a super low top. I was like, damn, girl.
That's a good pick, actually. Yeah.
That's
a good
solid.
one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pat, you got one yet, or do you want me to go first?
Fucking you go, James. I have no fucking idea what's happening with my life.
Think about it. So mine it was a clear choice for me. So you guys remember the movie The Mask, right, with Jim Carrey?
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz in The Mask was.
She's never looked better.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and she still looks good. I've always liked her. I know a lot of people are a little divisive on her, but for some reason I've always had a soft spot for her, for sure. But yeah, that was definitely my first. That red dress she's wearing and everything, and oh man, yeah.
Yeah, there are movies in which Cameron Diaz kind of looks like she might be able to slip under that like little space under your door in the floor because she's so thin. Like, like a rat, like a mouse.
like Mr. Fantastic.
Fuck.
Oh my
She seems nice.
All right, Patrick, we've bought you as much time as
God
we
damn
can.
it.
What's
I don't have a
yours?
fucking answer. Yeah, I don't fucking. My fucking childhood is a blur of just misery and failure.
Oh,
Just
no.
because didn't you grow up on a farm?
Yes.
Yeah, man,
Yes,
you guys
I
had the
did.
radio. You guys didn't have TV.
What's the first voice you thought? Oh,
Oh,
God.
fuck. Wait, I guess. Yeah, so we only had like 3 channels back in the day. And like the only shows we watched were Hercules and Xena.
Oh.
So fucking Xena.
Yeah.
That's a good pick, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking Xena was killing it back in the day.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think she still does. I think she's still kind of
yeah.
a babe too. Yeah.
Going back to last week's topic, she's in Parks and Rec. She plays Ron Swanson's like wife towards the end, like maybe season like 4 or 5. She's introduced.
Wait, which Tammy is she?
Not Tammy. No, she's actually like the good one with the 2 kids. I can't remember her name right now.
Oh shit, that's right.
That's her, man. Yeah.
Holy
She still
fuck,
looks
that's
good.
Xena. Damn.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I need to
Yeah,
watch
pretty
Parks
cool.
and Rec now.
Yeah. There you go.
Signing off. The podcast is done.
I want to go watch Xena. There's and she was kind of wasn't Xena kind of like a lesbian icon? She was, so that's kind of cool
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't think she was meant to be. Like I think it was like an I don't know, like I don't like an unconscious
It was
thing,
like it was
but-
subtext at best.
Yes.
Because right, what was that? That had to be like early '90s, mid '80s, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Xena's not part of.
Lucy
our
Lawless
generation.
is her name, by the way.
Lucy Lawless. There she is. She's even got a
Yeah.
hot name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xena, good
Yeah, she's great.
pick, man. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Didn't she?
Uh,
wasn't her weapon the chakram?
Yeah, it was like that like disc thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
Fucking
Wonderful.
killing it.
Why can't we let's get Xena as like a guest character in the next Mortal Kombat? Although I wouldn't
That
want to
would
see
be-
her spine ripped out.
No, neither would I. But I mean, it was.
Or maybe I
it's
would.
the same as it's the same thing as watching like Katana or Melina or something like that. Maybe not Melina. That's a bad example.
Sure.
but yeah, no, that's actually a really good idea. That's kind of a cool idea. Either way, that's our little surprise topic here. But moving on, I wanted to get this out of the way early here. So spoiler warning, because we are going to be talking spoilers. Or end of show impressions for a couple things, but mostly for this first topic here. So WandaVision officially wrapped up. What was it? 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
It was pretty recently. We're gonna sort of talk about the ending here and get everybody's opinions on it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Cool.
All right. So I've got a problem with the ending of WandaVision.
What's your problem, Pep?
So my problem is that the show ends at a point where it's obviously going to tie into the greater universe, but I feel like the show is worse off for where it ends in order to lead into something bigger.
Okay, so you think it had a detriment to when it tried to lead to something bigger in the bigger universe?
Yeah, because I feel like Wanda's really left hanging here. I feel like she's almost brought back to where she is in Age of Ultron, where she's this character that we like kind of can't trust and really aren't sure what exactly is going on with her.
That's a good point.
Because just one second.
Yeah.
So So at the end of the show, Wanda like loses her family and whatever, and they don't really resolve the issue that Wanda was manipulating this entire town for an extended period of time. So you have this character who's kind of left in limbo because they don't really end her story. They're like almost just like starting her story. So you just have this morally ambiguous area where you leave Wanda because she just hurt everybody in this town. And yeah, she lost her family and her kids, and maybe people would do that if they had the power. But the problem with this is that Wanda is immune from her actions simply because she is so strong. And I feel like that's a really not great way to have ended a really great show.
I feel like that's by design, though, because I was joking to my wife when she just kind of fucks off at the end, and there's no consequences for her, and she essentially just tortured an entire town.
Accurate.
And but also, and I like what you said about them just kind of starting her story because didn't have much going on with her. I mean, we had some Sokovia stuff and all that kind of thing. It was all relatively, in my opinion, kind of uninteresting. But where Wanda is, but where Wanda is now, I think is the reason why I'm okay with it is because it's kind of closer to the source material. And I think a lot of the fans, people have been watching these movies. We no longer need these characters or the events to be super close to the comic books. We understand that this isn't 616, that the MCU is something on its very own. But Wanda, or the Scarlet Witch, has always been this kind of anti-hero. She goes back and forth. She's unhinged. You can't trust her. She doesn't know her own strength. She gets taken advantage of all the time. She fucks up all the time. So I think this is actually closer to who the Scarlet Witch character actually is. And I'm okay with them because you've got to assume that she's now going to be on the run, hopefully. I mean, she's got to, put that bitch in jail as far as I'm concerned. You got to lock her ass up. All these people have, she just ruined a bunch of lives essentially, and she can't get away with it. So I'm sure that she's probably on the lam. And I see what you're saying, but I think that's probably kind of by design to bring her character closer to what she is in the books, and to kind of give her an edge instead of this just like, oh, Tony Stark killed my family.
Okay, that's fair.
So what did you guys think of, because it felt like they were actually alluding to the idea that she already had her powers before those experiments with the what is it, was it the Power Stone or
the Mind Gem?
Or the Mind Gem, the Mind Stone. So did I read into that correctly? Like, is that what Harkness was talking about, where like she already had like those powers, and like what they did basically just enhanced them?
She had like probability hexes, and then it seems to me like that they had been enhanced, and now she's kind of like a reality manipulator.
Right. Okay. What do you guys think of that?
I think her like power upgrade is no. I like her character, and I like her costume, and I like her not having the accent way more than I liked her old character.
Yeah, agreed.
Which seems like we probably won't. I mean, the new costume we'll get for sure, but the accent will most likely be back, because now she's no longer in that different reality.
I feel like she didn't have the accent. I feel like she wasn't using the accent when she spoke to that one woman in like the final scene she was there in.
I think so.
I
Maybe a
thought
little
she.
bit.
Yeah, I thought she did at least a little bit.
All
I
right.
can't
Well,
remember.
this fucking show is garbage.
Now it's ruined.
I would assume that if that accent was just to fuck off, nobody would. Sure, there would be a bunch of dorks out there like, what happened to the rest of us, the normal people, would be like, okay, cool. We don't need an explanation. Quit doing your dumb fucking accent and let's move on with our life.
Fair.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
respect that.
if I can, here was my issue with the ending. So the show starts off in kind of this unique way, certainly a slow burn. It's going, it's moving, it's doing its thing. You know, by episode, something weird kind of happens in episode 1. You're like, oh, that's strange. Episode 2, something even stranger happens, almost creepy. You're like, wow, this is interesting, but I'm not sure where it's going. Episode 3, it finally starts to pop off, and it's going in this unique direction. It's kind of influenced by a bunch of different things. I think I've already said this on a different podcast, but you know, you get little hints of the Twilight Zone in there. You get like maybe some Stranger Things. You get you know, kind of different flavors from different genres, and it's still kind of doing its own thing. But then the further that you move on, kind of past the middle of the show, it becomes decidedly more Marvel. And I feel like the more it went on and the more it just became familiar, and the more that they have to tie it into the greater MCU, and they kind of have to sacrifice some of the show's uniqueness in order to make it part of the larger picture, it really started to lose me. Now as a MCU fan, I still enjoyed some of the direction that it ultimately took. But I know that for my wife, she was really enjoying the show almost through the entire thing, with the exception of the last like maybe couple of episodes, because it became just a Marvel show. And they had to shoehorn all this shit in there that she didn't really kind of understand, that you're only going to get if you're invested in either the books or the movies. And if you're not super invested, then it's really just not going to matter that much to you. And I think that's where it loses out, because it was so unique and so cool, and then it just becomes a Marvel show after a while, and it was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but I think one of the issues with that viewpoint of it is the fact that like this is still part of the MCU. Like this is, you know, like I understand that from like somebody who's coming in to, you know, a show with fresh eyes, but you shouldn't do that. You should go back and watch. You should at least familiarize yourself with the MCU a little bit before watching WandaVision. You're not going to know who the fuck this is. And
well,
you know,
and
like
you know, I mean, we've done the Marvel movie marathon. You know, she's seen multiple movies multiple times. You know, we saw Ragnarok in the theater. We saw Black Panther in the theater. So she's very familiar, but she's just not a hardcore nerd about it like we are, you know, following it from the very beginning. So I just kind of feel like I do feel like that was still a shame. I don't mind it becoming a Marvel show per se and tying itself into the greater universe, but they sacrificed some of these unique ideas towards the end.
I'll agree with that for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
How crazy was it when she fucking used her power on that old witch to just fucking manipulate her mind, so she's just that person she was pretending to be?
Yeah.
That whole sequence was interesting.
The woman who played Harkness, I thought, did a really good job.
So good.
Yeah, she's wonderful in almost anything she does.
Yeah. I don't know. She mainly does comedy, right?
Oh yeah. She's been in Parks and Rec. She's done a lot of little bit parts in a bunch of things. She was in Step Brothers. Definitely mainly comedy. Let me see if I can find her name. I'm interested in that.
I find her attractive.
Oh yeah, she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That was a cool reveal. Yeah. Where they're like, you know, that she was the one pulling the strings. That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting it.
No, I did not either.
And obviously, the Vision, Paul Bettany, does a, he's not that he saved the show, but he is such a big part of why that show is so. He did a great job.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Agreed. By the way, just real quick, Catherine Hahn is her name.
Okay.
And she's wonderful. But yeah, I like how they I thought it was interesting how they're bringing the Vision back. Like obviously that kind of, I felt like that ended a little too quickly. Actually, I almost would have liked to have seen like where New Vision went. Like what the fuck is he doing? Like where he just kind of books it. After he's downloaded all that shit into his brain.
Ooh, yeah.
But that, yeah, I wanted to know more about that. So I'm excited to see where that leads in the MCU. But I'm curious if he's going to keep that look about him, that like kind of white, like almost sterile look, going forward.
No, he got his regular
probably
color
not.
back, didn't he?
I don't think
No,
so.
we don't see that. The last time we see New Vision, like the new one, he's still white and he's flying away. I think
he's
so,
got to
anyway.
get his look back though. He looks so weird.
He's very odd looking, yeah.
Yeah, I find him attractive.
All right. Oh man.
Yeah, it was it was a neat show. What do you guys think of? And I think we may have gone over this also, but what did you guys think of the character from Ant-Man, the Asian guy? What's his name?
Oh yeah. What is his name? Shoot, I'm gonna look that up too. I didn't mind. I know you had a bit of an issue with it because I think we did talk about this before, and you were mentioning it was a bit of a like odd juxtaposition between like the tense weirdness of early episodes of WandaVision and then this kind of goofball character from Ant-Man. I thought he did a pretty good job, to be honest with you. I didn't really get that. I know what you mean for sure, and I do think they very much tuned it down, like the whole goofiness aspect of that character. And it didn't bother me as much, in retrospect. I actually liked him.
I liked him as kind of a comic relief character who just comes in to soften the mood.
I guess you're right in that as the show wore on, I kind of warmed up to him or whatever, but still there's just something, I don't know. He's almost like a cartoon character. I feel like he's over animated or something. He's doing all this goofy junk with his face, and like he just takes me out of it. I want to like the character, but there's just something about their performance, because I love him in the Ant-Man movies. He's perfect there,
Yeah.
But there was just something about the performance that was out of place for me in the WandaVision context, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
He's a strong personality in that show.
Indeed.
Yeah.
How about the chick from Thor? The young scientist?
See, that's the one where like that. No, I thought she did great, and I like that actress. And but like I don't know. It felt almost like she was sort of pigeonholed as like a plot device. You know what I mean? Like she's there to move, like to figure something out and move the plot forward, and that's about all she's good for. But I don't know. I like that actress. I like the character's fine. I don't have a problem with her.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess she's not. She's always just kind of there to do something to just move them forward.
Yeah, here, let me do my impression of basically every one of her lines. Why are you guys such idiots? It's like she's always like she's so much smarter than everyone, right? That's the whole thing, that because again, I think she's really good in the Thor movies. I like that actress quite a bit. But yeah, she's just she's so smart. It's so much
even more than Jimmy Woo's character. I thought her character was out of place here. it felt odd to have her there. In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
it's strange. All in all, I enjoyed the show quite a bit. It definitely, for me, it hits its peak somewhere around the middle, maybe 60% of the way through the show. It kind of hits its peak, and then it's a little bit downhill from there. But all in all, it's pretty neat. What do you guys think is going to happen next? I remember hearing, I haven't done any research on this, but I remember hearing somebody. I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about how they think that they're going to tie Wanda into the Doctor Strange's multiverse of madness, and how they may be, going through the multiverse, actually looking for her children or something. What do you guys think's on deck?
That's a cool idea because I like the idea that universe that she created is potentially still like around. You know what I mean? Like in some sort of a way.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool because that means there's a version of Vision and her children like in that universe still, like she tapped into a different universe or something like that. So I kind of like that idea. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. So my idea is that if she's going to the multiverse of madness, she's gonna end up trying to find her brother. And that's just how we're going to bring in the X-Men to this franchise, if that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Exactly. Aren't you guys a wee bit afraid that? So we did the time travel thing with Endgame, which really muddies the water.
Yes.
Now we're getting into the multiverse thing. And I mean, I do kind of feel like once this is the slippery slope, right? Like when you start going in this direction, this may kind of be the death knell for the universe, because eventually with time travel and multiple universes and all this kind of jazz, it's eventually just going to get way too convoluted.
It's already
and fall apart.
Arguably, it's already close to that.
Yeah.
Time travel. It just makes things so much more fucking confusing. I think when it gets to that point, the general public will sort of probably just stop caring about it and stop watching. And like we mentioned before, I mean that's when they'll either reboot or they'll stop for a while and make it again in 10 years or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think we're headed towards that for sure, especially introducing multiple universes as well. I think that's gonna be strange for a lot of people.
Do you guys kind of feel the superhero fatigue setting in for personally at all?
Yeah, I have missed some Marvel movies. I don't really watch DC movies anymore.
Same.
Because most of them are terrible. That's not on me. That's not on me, DC. But yeah, I've missed some Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely with you on the DC movies. I have not watched those. God, I haven't seen the last one. I watched was Wonder Woman 1984. But I skipped Justice League. I skipped. Oh God, I can't even remember.
I guess
There's
that
a couple
isn't...
I skipped Suicide Squad. If I can talk. Suicide Squad.
Did you guys watch Birds of Prey?
No,
yes.
I didn't watch that.
Fuck yes, I did.
Was it good?
It is the second best DC movie.
No way.
It is distinctly the second best DC movie.
We're gonna talk about this. So let's use this as a segue here. We wanted to talk about DC. We're gonna kind of keep it within a comic book movie universe theme today. So let's move on to DC. Why don't we? So, Pat, I guess we'll kick it off with you. What's your favorite DC movie, and then talk about Birds of Prey.
Okay, I think Man of Steel is the best DC movie.
I would 100% agree with you. That was my pick as well.
Wow, we all agree.
Yep. It's
Excellent.
the best one.
We're
easily.
all right.
Yes. What they did with Man of Steel was so awesome. They changed that character, from what people it was a little divisive, but they made Superman interesting again, in my opinion. And because I've never been a huge Superman fan. He's not ever been one of my favorite hero characters ever. And that movie made me like him a lot more, and made me like that universe a lot more. And I don't know. It has gone downhill since then.
Mm-hmm. P-Bird, what is it about Man of Steel that you like so much?
So I feel like it is where DC needed to go in order to compete with Marvel. I also feel like it's a really good Superman story, but the direction is so Superman is a little more grounded. It's this more serious toned story. And it's got these moments where Superman has to deal with situations that don't always end well.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's where DC needed to be in order to compete with, this upbeat, usually like happy Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a fan of the 80s Superman movies, P-Bird?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, what are the issues that I think a lot of fans take with Snyder Superman is it's muted. It's got that color palette that's kind of one of his signature, kind of stylistically it's very, what is it, Zack Snyder. Do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem with the way the movie looks?
Not really. I feel like the environments just make it work. Where they're in Alaska, they're on a lot of ships. It makes sense for it to be darker.
Jim, were you a Christopher Reeve Superman fan?
I was not. Like I said, I've never been a big Superman guy. Those movies were a bit before my time. I feel like I've maybe seen the first one, and I've seen a lot of like clips of the other ones. It's kind of hard to avoid like little clips here and there. But from what I understand, I think the first two are generally thought of as really good, and then the last two are pretty terrible. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's the consensus. Yeah.
That's true.
What do you think of the tone of Man of Steel?
I thought it was great, actually. I actually really liked because I like Superman's new costume is what I'll kind of focus in on here. Like, it's not bright blue, bold, and he doesn't have like the crazy red underpants on and stuff like that. Like it's a much more kind of, this might sound harsh, but it's a more grown up look. Like it just doesn't look like it doesn't look like a kid drew him. You know what I mean? And not that Superman's costume is bad in any way, like in the old comic books and stuff like that, but that's what you think of a superhero like when you're a kid growing up, and Superman in the movie, in Zack Snyder's version of Superman, I felt like was just more like, like we're talking about, like dark and gritty and kind of a different tone for the character, obviously. And I loved his new color palette. I loved the new look to his costume. I thought it was really cool.
When Henry Cavill's not wearing his costume and he's just bare chested, does that ring your bell?
Yes.
That rings everyone's bell to your name.
Yeah, me too. He's such a beefy.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think that is also and so we always liked Man of Steel. But going back now and also knowing who Henry Cavill is, and he is this big-hearted, super handsome PC building nerd guy, you know, he's also playing Geralt and that kind of thing. I mean, Henry Cavill for me is, you know, everybody freaks out about Keanu Reeves, who I also like. I find him very endearing, right? But I kind of freak out for Henry Cavill the way the rest of nerddom freaks out for Keanu Reeves. I just find him infinitely charming and handsome and cool, and I think it's a big draw for me. And over time, I like Man of Steel even more just because I love Henry fucking Cavill so much.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a good. That's a good take on him as not only an actor but a man.
He's great.
How do you guys feel about Zod?
I thought his performance. God, what's that actor's name? I'm kind of upset. I don't remember his name.
I'm gonna say it's Michael something.
Michael Shannon.
Yes, that's it. I thought he did fantastic. Now I don't really remember I don't know much about Zod's character from the comic books. I don't have a lot to go on to like make a decision on if he did a good job playing Zod, but I can say that I loved his performance as like a bad guy against Superman. Like, yeah, it was awesome. I think he did great.
Like when he says Krypton had its chance, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Well, I love when he's talking to Superman, and like in that scene where there's all those skulls and Superman starts sinking in, like that was awesome. Like he did a great job voice. That actor's awesome. He's very, very good.
So good. So
what about? Doesn't he say something like super fucked up to Superman's dad? Doesn't he say like he's like, I'm gonna rebuild Krypton atop his bones?
Yeah,
I think he says. Does he say it directly to his dad, or
I think he does?
It's the hologram version of his dad in the ship.
Oh, okay.
I think right before that he says like, you have the memories of Kal-El. I wonder if you can feel his pain.
Oh God!
What
he has such fucking presence in that movie.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, that movie is so good, dude. And then and I'm not gonna. One of my favorite little scenes, and it's not just because Henry Cavill's shirtless, but one of the coolest little things in there is, you remember that scene where I think he just got done rescuing the men off the oil tanker, and he's kind of come ashore, and they're playing. Yep. It's very muted. They're playing that really cool song, and he like steals some clothes off of a clothesline real quick, and he's kind of walking, and like that's a really neat scene. I like his scene in the bar where that one piece of shit is picking a fight with him, and then I think he just twists his truck around a light pole or something like that. That movie is so good. It's tonally, it's great, and I think that's why I asked you guys what you guys think about that, because before, I think everybody just wanted the Christopher Reeve super colorful thing again, and and had they done that, it would have almost been like a Force Awakens type thing, right? Where it's just like, so we just got the Christopher Reeve thing again, Okay. So I'm really glad that they didn't go that route. How about holy Christ, why am I blanking on Dances with Wolves? What's his name?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, who I also love. P-Bird, what'd you think of Kevin Costner?
Which
Superman's dad?
Earth Dad. Yeah, he's great. Love him.
Yeah, Earth Dad.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like, fucking Kevin Costner.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
Who is Dances with Wolves?
Yeah, I thought he was really great for the movie. Just because I feel like throughout that film, he's kind of right. Where he's just like, doesn't want Superman in the spotlight until he's ready. because mankind is unpredictable and volatile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously the moral voice of the of early like Man of Steel, like that you can see like what his character was meant to do. It was meant to instill like a you know moral code and compass for Superman, and it worked really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Truth and justice.
Hmm.
I don't know about, well, so, and then what's his name? Who's also a great actor. How about Space Daddy? How'd you guys feel about Space Dad's
Was
performance?
that Russell Crowe?
That
It sure
was
is.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah. I thought he did cool. I thought it was really cool, actually. I liked that pick.
I thought he did
I
cool.
think he did cool.
Words. Yeah, I like
That's my new
I like
fan.
the juxtaposition of his Earth father with his Krypton father.
Right.
Of just where like the Krypton father like knows knows what his potential will be, and his Earth father is just like, okay, like you need to know like what you can do, but what you should do.
Hmm.
Yeah, and doesn't he say that they will do so much with your help, like you have to love them. And
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing line.
Yeah, pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go and rewatch the movie and see who I agree with more, because I kind of feel like I wonder what the two fathers would have made of each other. Each other's philosophies and what they think that Kal-El should be doing and how he should be helping and when he should be helping and all that kind of thing. And I wonder if there's anything there to kind of examine. It's been a long time since I put that movie on in the background every once in a while, but it's been a really long time since I've actually sat down and watched it.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've
same.
seen it multiple times, but it's probably been. I haven't even done as much as that, where like I've had it on in the background. Like it's probably been maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in quite some time.
Also, just still on the topic of Man of Steel, this is kind of more of a surface and very kind of just more visually pleasing thing. But what did you guys think of the action, the fight scenes?
Great.
So there aren't tons of, well, no, like the back fourth of the movie, because the first 15-20 minutes is basically a big action scene, and then maybe the back end of the movie is there much in the middle?
I remember
I
the
think
fight where he fights that like the general, the girl. I don't remember her name. But the girl with that short black hair,
Uh-huh.
gotcha.
who is gorgeous, by the way. But I remember that those like that fight scene where like I think she throws him through a bank or something like that, and like they go through, maybe it was a gas station. I can't remember, but I thought just how quickly they moved, and it was very kind of Dragon Ball Z almost, where like all of a sudden they're just fucking right there and they're punching in the face, like I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that was an
Yeah.
amazing scene where they just
Mhm.
handled it really well. They just had the cameras in all the right places.
Yeah, and that's what like I feel like a Kryptonian versus a Kryptonian on Earth. That's what it would look like to us, because like we can't really see, like they're moving super fast, they're super strong, it's just I like it felt like what my eyes would see while I'm watching this unfold. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, I just thought it was done really well.
Yeah, I do remember thinking it was kind of cool that Zod and so like when Zod and Jor-El were fighting, they had kind of, because they were soldiers or whatever, they had like a hand to hand, almost like a, I don't know, Kryptonian born identity thing going on, where they were actually using some kind of martial arts. And obviously Superman at this point doesn't really, I mean, he really just learned his own strength. He's kind of fighting like a college guy, right? Where he's just taking big swings and hoping that he knocks somebody out. And it was kind of an interesting dynamic to see him go up against Zod, and Zod is using martial arts, and Kal-El is just kind of swinging for the fences. You know?
Yeah.
I do remember something kind of badass going on with that woman though. Like there was something cool, and maybe it was no, you know what it is? It's the soldier guy. I think he's in
Law and Order.
Yes, there you go. And he like shoots the fuck out of her, and like nothing happens, and then he like takes his knife out. Like he won't give up the fight. Like he's ready to go. And I remember thinking like, he knows he doesn't have a chance, but still he's going to fight. And I remember thinking, that's very Captain America right there, dog. I fucking love that.
Yeah. No, and I think that was a cool way to like represent how like humanity is, you know, does have like bravery, you know, and does have courage and stuff like that. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the action in the movie I don't think is the highlight. I'm not sure if I dig, because I remember the Dragon Ball Z comparison being kind of a big deal back in the day, and I remember thinking, yeah, Dragon Ball Z sucks, so this is lame.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan either, but I just thought that the fight scenes were very cool and visually pleasing.
Yeah, they were okay. They're okay. Super sick movie. So yeah, Man of Steel #1. Patrick Bird, tell me why Birds of Prey is #2.
So just have one quick question. James, are you good on time?
Yeah, just go for it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, right.
So Birds of Prey is a really good movie because it's got this Guardians of the Galaxy thing kind of going on, where it introduces a slew of characters really well from who are all unknowns, essentially. Just like comic book characters that we haven't seen or heard of ever, probably on the big screen. And how it tells the story, because it kind of Quentin Tarantino goes back and forth, it just presents it in a really unique and interesting way. And it sells the characters really well.
Huh. Jimmy, did you see it?
No, I have not seen Birds of Prey or Suicide Squad.
You guys are pathetic.
Wow, you haven't seen Suicide Squad either. Well, so I saw. Now, my expectations, to be totally honest with you, other than Margot Robbie, and it's also got good old Obi-Wan in there. But my expectations for that movie were absolutely in the gutter. And then not too long ago, I don't have tons of time. I watched part of it, and I was like, wow, this like seems kind of fun. Seems kind of cool. Like I wasn't expecting it to be like this. Now I know it, you know, it eventually starts kind of, you know, it's kind of a girl power movie and that kind of thing, which I'm fine with. But I didn't see. I heard a bunch of like butthurt dudes out there talking about how woke the movie was, and which I hate. But the 25 minutes of it that I saw, I was like, this doesn't seem woke. This seems like straight up fun. You know, this seems like it's kind of edgy. Margot Robbie seems to be having fun with the character. It's violent. It seems it's kind of dark. And for me, I've got some time on my hands right now because I have to stay home from work. My poor wife has COVID. So I'll probably go and watch that movie because maybe I liked what I saw because my expectations were so low for it, but I don't know what I saw. I thought it was kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
James, do you plan on watching it?
Well, I was just gonna say, based off of P-Bird's like very adamant recommendation, I guess, I will. I'll try to see if I can watch it. Is it something that because I really, I'll be honest, I don't want to watch Suicide Squad.
Do not watch Suicide Squad.
Okay, I
No,
was going to ask,
Suicide Squad is
is
fucking
it
terrible.
necessary?
You should watch Suicide Squad.
No, you should.
Just because it's a bad movie doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch it, because there are.
Oh my god, that was the best sentence ever.
It's still. I mean, I would say that Suicide Squad is still watchable. You know, it's not. Yes, I'm trying to think of what is an unwatchable movie.
Wonder Woman.
The Village.
1984.
The Village? I love The Village.
I fucking hate The Village.
Hey, the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yes, fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie. But yeah, Wonder Woman 1984 is probably an unwatchable movie.
Oh, it's still watchable. I watched it. It just took me like 6 different tries.
I watched it in one sitting. It was, you know, what's frustrating about Wonder Woman 1984
Cannibal Holocaust. That's an unwatchable movie.
Yeah,
but for different reasons, probably though.
This is true.
I'll still watch Cannibal Holocaust. I don't like it.
I'm upset with myself every time.
Proceed with your fucking. You were saying something, James. I interrupted.
Yeah, that's okay. What bugs me so much about Wonder Woman is not that it was all that terrible of a movie, more so that it just had so much potential that I don't think it lived up to.
That's a great point.
Because like the premise of the movie is very cool. I do actually like Pedro Pascal's performances as kind of the misguided bad guy of the film. It was a little bit campy at times and a little over the top, but it was meant to be, you know. And I think I don't know. It's not, again, it's just not terrible, but it just could have been so much better, especially considering that I think the first Wonder Woman movie is actually pretty awesome. I felt like that movie was actually, right now, that's my number 2 pick for DC movies, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a total waste of potential. How utterly miscast is Kristen Wiig, or whatever her name is?
That's her name.
Is that the cheetah who's not the cheetah?
Cheetah, yeah.
Cheetah, yeah.
So I don't know that that's a miscasting. I think that the problem with that is a problem with the plot of this movie, where you have to effectively introduce Maxwell Lord. You have to introduce her Minerva. I'm not going to call her the cheetah because she's cheetah for like 10 minutes of this movie. She's just like a super strong lady for the rest of it.
I'm pretty sure didn't they ruin that in the trailers also, that like Cheetah was the bad guy?
Yeah, I want to say that they did.
Which is bullshit. Like that would have been a pretty interesting reveal.
Yeah. Especially when you're having it at the last 10 minutes of the fucking movie.
And the fact that it only lasts for that long. Because, like, you would think that, like, if you're building this character up to be the main bad guy, you would think they would have been established at least halfway through the film and then be that bad guy for half the film.
Yeah, you would think. But they didn't do that. Then they also, like, spend a bunch of just, like, the time of the movie on the dead boyfriend, like, subplot.
Yeah, the love interest.
Which was just like, yeah, this is not what this movie fucking needs right here.
Yeah.
Weird.
Real quick, let's all just say something nice about the movie. I'll start. Wonder Woman's Valkyrie armor is cool.
And does nothing. That was another thing that actually pissed me off about it, because like she shows up with this fucking badass armor, and then like immediately Cheetah just beats it off of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually frustrating in my opinion. I thought that was gonna be like the thing that saves the day, and it's just like, well, that was fucking worthless.
I forgot that was the sequence of events. It is a horribly forgettable movie too. Like I'm trying to think of like the beat, like the things that happened in the movie, and I think the things that are coming to my mind are actually all things that happened in the trailer, because I saw the trailer a few times. Everything else is just like forgettable schlock. I feel like, like
a lot
even
of it.
even the action, like the action sucked, dude. That whole scene in the mall was just like a bunch of
that
so
scene
bad.
is so terrible.
It
is
so
bad.
It's really bad. What was also, again, kind of going back to the first Wonder Woman movie, the action in the first Wonder Woman movie is fucking awesome.
Right.
I remember
really
that
good
scene where she like busts into that room and she like slides on her knees, like underneath like a bunch of gunfire or something like that. Like that was so cool. And like she's using her fucking her like that slow motion like bullet like time bullshit where she's deflecting it with her bracelets, like or her gauntlets, whatever they are. Like that was awesome. Oh my god! Like the action in the new movie was just so much worse compared to the first one.
And when she's got her shield and she's charging the arm, like that whole scene is sick, son.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, what a real letdown. Although there were cool things, like there were, it almost reminded me of when the whole world is coming to an end and there's just a bunch of crazy bullshit happening. Do you guys remember that animated cartoon on Adult Swim called Super Jail?
Yes.
No.
You know how the Super Jail just pops off into like ultra violent mayhem at the end of every episode?
Yeah.
That's how there were like Super Jail moments in that movie where they like kind of pan out to show you the city or like what's happening on the ground, and people are just going fucking nuts. Like that's what it reminded me of, and that was cool.
Yeah. Okay. Solid enough part.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much wrong with that movie. From just the action scenes are just like have terrible choreography. I feel like they also have terrible sound. I feel like I distinctly remember that mall scene and just like comparing it to Captain America when he just fucking like is laying people out. And Wonder Woman's just like fucking somehow not just like fucking like playing with these guys essentially. It's
I don't know what they did with the Captain America movies, but they've always made it seem like Captain America is just hitting like a truck. Like he just hits so always done. Even the the
First Avenger.
The First Avenger or whatever it is, like the original Captain America movie, he just seems to punch so incredibly hard. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that they do specifically is that I think when he hits somebody and they fly back, they speed up like how like the frame rate, they make something different with the frame rate because like the guys just go so quickly back, you know what I mean? Like it feels a lot more forceful than it actually is in reality, like when they're actually filming it, but like. That's like it's got to be some sort of a camera trick because like you're right, they just make him like he'll hit and then just they like explode backwards,
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, real. I couldn't agree more. I think the real problem with the movie, the biggest problem with the movie is just its wasted potential. Lame, totally lame.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Do you think, like we talked about our favorites, Tiernan, do you have a number 2?
Ooh, I mean, off the top of my head, I want to say Aquaman.
Do you have a least favorite? Is that easier?
I don't know. Wonder Woman 2 is got to be up there. That's a way harder question, I feel like, because most of them are so bad, So
this is true.
Aquaman is palatable, like
Aquaman's not terrible.
Yeah, it's fun. I think some of the action sequences are are great. Some of their performances, or at least Aquaman's performance, I think is serviceable and relatively, even though it's kind of dude bro-y or whatever, it's still fine, and maybe it's just because Jason Momoa is he's almost like an interesting guy to look at. He's kind of like The Rock, where it's just like, how do people get like that? How do you wind up on the earth looking all cool like that?
Yeah.
So
lots of hard work.
yes, I'm sure he works extraordinarily hard to do all that. But he's got cool hair and all that kind of shit. And then Amber Heard, who I fucking hate. But she's pretty. It's got Willem Dafoe in there, which is a huge plus.
Yeah.
What I want to watch again. I haven't seen it in a long time. I want to watch Boondock Saints again. I have not seen that movie in fucking forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie is awesome.
His performance in Boondock Saints. His performance. I don't think he does bad in any movie. He's so good. He's way up there with one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
Black Manta's one of my favorite DC villains, so I mean it's cool that he's in there.
Do you think they did him justice?
What'd you say?
Do you think they did his character justice?
No, he's not in there enough.
Yeah.
And they do an okay job of making him feel dangerous a little bit. What I like about his character is he does seem kind of evil, right? He's motivated by bad stuff. Even before his dad gets killed, he seems like a bad guy.
Wasn't he like a pirate?
He's like a pirate, but he's also really motivated. He's motivated to do bad and be violent. And I do like that about him because he does come off as pretty sinister, even though he's relatively powerless and all that kind of stuff. He's got some weapons or whatever, but he doesn't have any superpowers. And I do like that he does still manage to come off as a threat to some degree. And I think it's just maybe that guy's performance. I don't know who he is, but he does seem he comes off to me as pretty pissed off and pretty menacing, which is good.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Aquaman number 2 for me.
Okay. Cool. As far as least favorite goes, I have a hard time really judging for that because I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey. I haven't even seen Justice League yet. And speaking of which, the Justice League Snyder Cut just released recently, and tune in next week. We're gonna discuss that. Give myself a chance to watch it, and because it's 4 hours long, and we all have busy schedules, and we're gonna go over our opinions on that one. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch all of them. So choosing my least favorite is difficult. I guess choosing my favorite is difficult also just because maybe those are good, but I doubt they are.
You can just say Batman vs Superman if you want.
Yeah, I guess for my least favorite, that's probably out of the ones I've seen, that's probably either that one or Wonder Woman.
Good pick. That movie blows.
Yeah. It is terrible.
Yeah,
it is a terrible movie. You want to talk about wasted potential? Let's talk about Batman v Superman.
On unthinkable.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah, we all went to see that in theaters.
I saw it twice.
Why?
Let me confirm the garbage.
It's like, was this as bad as I thought? Yes.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, Batman vs Superman, I think, is still when I would drink, basically an entire bottle of whiskey before I went into the movie theater, and that movie makes me want to continue doing that. It's one of the few movies where, because back in the day I used to get super drunk before I would go see movies, and and it was always kind of nice because what would happen is when the movie would come to Blu-ray or whatever, it would be like seeing it for the first time. And Batman vs Superman is one of the few movies where it got worse. as, you know, when I saw it the second time, and it gets worse the more you watch it. It's really
Yeah,
it's pretty tragic.
that's a good description of that, actually, because there is something about, because I remember seeing it in the theaters and I have not watched it since. And don't get me wrong, it was a bad movie. I didn't like it, but there is a sense of like, oh, I'm at the movies. I've got popcorn. It's like the sound quality is like loud and in your face and big screen, and like there are action sequences that are pretty cool. That fight scene that he has in like the warehouse or whatever it is actually kind of awesome.
Yeah, just ripped
He's
right out of the video games.
Yeah, exactly, and pretty cool looking and good choreography and stuff. So like those are, when you see it in theaters, those are the things that kind of stick with you a lot of the times, where like it's just like, oh god, it's just so crazy, and it's all hitting you. But yeah, when you get a chance to watch it at home or try to rewatch it, you kind of have a chance to pick it apart a little bit more, and that's a good point.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good job, buddy.
Oh man, proud of you. So are we done shitting on DC now?
Yeah. Till their next movie comes out.
Yeah,
Cool.
real quick, that's all I was going to ask is what is even next for them? Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, are they even continuing the universe, or what's next?
I'm gonna Google that real fast.
I want to say they're not, but let's
I
see.
think they are, because I'm pretty sure Aquaman 2 is still a thing.
Okay.
Is the new Batman movie with
Right.
Robert Pattinson, is that in the same? That can't be in the same universe.
No, I think that's like an Elsewhere tale.
Maybe they can just pick up there. You
Maybe.
know.
Well, I'm looking at a website right now, and I'm looking through it, and it's looking like there's another Suicide Squad in the make. But I don't understand what that is. That looks different. I don't know what's going on with that. But the next one that looks like it's part of the current universe is they're making a Flash movie, because isn't the Flash played by Ezra Miller?
I think so.
Yeah, and it's got Ben Affleck in there as Batman listed as part of the cast. That's not coming out, and it's not scheduled until November of 2022. So we're getting pretty far out there already. Aquaman 2, they're making. They've already announced that. See here.
I don't think they should do it. I don't think they should do any of this.
Yeah.
Fair.
I know they've been talking about another Shazam movie. We totally haven't mentioned Shazam. What did you guys think of Shazam?
I thought it was overrated.
I think it's fine.
I thought it was pretty good. I think it's kind of just in the middle for their movies. Like it's not anywhere near as bad as like Batman vs Superman, but it's nowhere good as near as at the top of the list either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think that main actor is really good about playing essentially a child.
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely has that kind of like again sort of goofball sort of thing going on. The Zachary Levi. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I think that movie was overhyped to me. I really like Shazam from the books and that kind of thing. So I think my expectations were a little bit high. And it came out, and I just kind of thought, you know, people were like, "Oh yeah, it's one of the best DC movies out there." And then, you know, I was like, "Oh, cool," until I remembered, well, that's not a standard to be excited about.
Yeah.
So it was
true.
It was just very much okay for me. I should probably go back and rewatch that one. I don't want to shit all over it because
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not anything. I mean, you know, I think it is probably worth a rewatch with a little bit more of an open mind. But yeah, it's also not like stellar for sure.
I want to see The Rock's Black Adam real bad.
Yeah, that's a very, very cool idea.
Yeah, because I want to see The Rock be. I want to see The Rock be a bad guy. We're so used to, I mean, unless you were like a wrestling fan or something, I'm struggling to come up with a movie where The Rock played a
Doom.
bad guy.
He played
What
a
is
bad
it?
guy in Doom.
Did he though?
Yeah, he
An
basically killed the main
anti-hero?
Okay. I don't remember that movie very well, but yeah, there you go.
Well, you've got
Yeah,
some homework to do,
That
dude.
was also very early in The Rock's acting career,
That was
correct?
super early.
Yeah, so he's not the current Dwayne The Rock Johnson at that point. You know, now he's known as this very charismatic good guy actor, and I think that's, I don't know. A more recent example would kind of disprove Tiernan's point even better.
have you guys seen the sequel to Get Shorty? I think it's called Be Cool.
No, I have not.
don't think so. Get Shorty is such a good movie.
If I remember, Get Shorty is great. If I remember correct, The Rock plays like this big gay bodyguard, and he's also like an aspiring actor in there, and it is, for me,
The quintessential.
it is such a hilarious performance, and it was before people knew The Rock for what he was, and I think it's his first role when people were like, that is hilarious and charming, and what the fuck is this guy doing coming out of nowhere? It is such a cool little performance. The movie is nowhere near as good as Get Shorty, but I think it's worth watching, almost exclusive, maybe not exclusively. It's a watchable movie, but his performance in that movie is fucking hilarious and really worth checking out.
All right. Noted.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, I think for this week, gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here, unless anybody else wants to talk about anything.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, we are going to sign off. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Cantina Radio. My name is James. Say goodbye to my two friends, Tiernan and Pat.
Bye.
See ya.
And enjoy your week. We'll talk at you next week.